In the 1978 film Halloween, a vicious killer named Michael Myers stalks a small town in Illinois, while a psychologist named Dr. Loomis tries to track him down. At the end of the film, he puts a few rounds into the madman, causing him to fall from an upstairs balcony to the cold ground below. When Loomis goes to check his mark, he notices that Michael is gone, his face stony and passive. He knew this would happen. Director John Carpenter said this was a choice by Loomis's actor, the late great Donald Pleasance.
Donald's character sees that the body's gone. He said, I can play this two ways. I can play this, oh my God, or I can play this, I knew this would happen.
Carpenter noticed that it was far more effective than going with a take where Loomis looked panicked by the disappearance. We may never know how the other side of the coin would have played out, but I think it's fair to say that Halloween as a franchise has been very successful. It's one thing when a character understands that the monster is still alive or hasn't been fully defeated, or even knowing that they themselves are doomed. But what happens when the audience knows it? What happens when they've known it from the very beginning? Happy Halloween, you little rodents! A pleasure to be with you today, the day after Halloween. To celebrate the holiday, I decided to watch a horror film called Smile 2. I saw the first Smile for the first time about a week ago, and I think they're fine, with the second one being a little bit better than fine. There's some creative moments, some clever kills, and the second movie has a really good vibe with a score and a soundtrack that I quite like. And there you go. There's the video. The Smile movies are fine. End of truncated video essay. Subscribe for more hard-hitting media analysis from the mind of a man who almost cut off one of his many skin tags with scissors on accident and on purpose at the same time. Anyway, maybe there is a little bit more that we can put here. I mean, there is something I take umbrage with, a pretty major piece of the overall tale. A significant part of the ultimate scare that, to me, really hampers the tension that these films try to build. I'm going to do my best to not get into major spoilers here because I do think the second film is quite strong and worth seeing. I think the first film should be fair game, honestly, but I'll still try to keep this as light as possible. So here's your spoiler warning. If you don't care, keep watching. If you do care, you keep watching anyway, but you'll go see the movies and then come back. But definitely come back. Make sure you come back. And come back anyway. I mean, watch the video 500 times. What else are you going to do with your life, huh? Horror movies are difficult to make these days. I'm currently working on a screenplay for a horror film, and it is hard. It's exciting, and I enjoy it, but it's difficult. Because there aren't any frontiers left for horror movies to cause societal-level fears over. Nobody's going to rush to church because of Immaculate. Nobody's avoiding the water because of the Meg. Those days are over. People just aren't that easily gotten anymore. The earnest population so easily awed is long dead. It's not the 1893 World's Fair with people fainting on top of the Ferris wheel because, by God, I've never seen a sunset from above the fumes of fetid shit caked all over the fire hydrants to keep them from freezing. If those people saw the movie Smile, they would die on the spot. Don't get me wrong, horror movies of today can still be scary, but those scares center around tension and impending dread brought on by clever writing, effects, and design. Obviously, when I see something like Smile, I am not afraid of the unalive yourself demon because it's not real, it's not a thing that exists. But I can appreciate good characters and a good story, fun kills, effects, and scares. In many similar movies, the entity that characters face off with often wins. Either it gets away, it survives the final encounter, or will just straight up kill the hero. And I used to not like that kind of thing because what's the point of rooting for the hero if you know that their fight is ultimately futile? It's worse if you're rooting for the monster. I think there is a wider conversation to be had about how quickly people will root for dude with big knife because the protagonists are annoying. But I have since softened on this stance. I understand the purpose of a money shot, no pause, for sending the audience home with something memorable. Something's gotta roar at the camera, we need a final jump scare, a lasting image to stick with you as you post your reviews on social media in the lobby of the theater. And both Smile movies have that. For me, it isn't about knowing the protagonist won't be the indescribable omniscient entity. It's about the journey, how they fight it, how the characters are written. That ultimately matters more. Sure, the characters fought as hard as they could, but in the end they came up short. Tough break. Their consolation prize is having their brain matter forcibly removed from their heads. You root for the heroines because they are relatable and deeply flawed people. Their situations make their encounters with the Smile entity fascinating. One of them is a psychologist. The other is a pop star staging a comeback tour after substance abuse problems. Like I said, the everyman. These setups lead to some very creative moments and scares where the entity messes with them. But the problem I have, the thing that's stuck in my craw, is an over-reliance on hallucination that really hampers a lot of the tension that these films try to build. They use hallucination like a get-out-of-jail-free card. Don't know how to segue a scene? Hallucination. Don't know how to get a character out of a tight corner? Hallucination. Don't want to get caught keeping the king-size candy for yourself while the kids get fun ties on Halloween? Hallucination. I don't mind using hallucination, but the reach and length of them are so endlessly powerful that never at any moment in either one of these films did I believe that the characters even had a whisper of a shot. So what am I going to dread? Do I really think this 100-pound girl in the sequin onesie is going to scuff the paint on the 12-jawed globglow gabgalab? No. Whenever anything happens, my question isn't, oh, how is she going to get out of this situation? How is she going to figure out what's going on and survive into the next scene? No, my question is, how long until the movie finally reveals that she's hallucinating? Again. It's just a shame because these hallucinations ruined some really powerful moments, in my opinion, especially in the first film. Like I said, the characters in both films are deeply flawed, and in the finale, the main character of Smile 1 completes her character arc. She confronts her past, and she deals with it. She's finally honest with herself about what has happened to her. It's a great moment that's deflated by being a hallucination. So not only is the tension of man versus monster gone, but man versus himself is gone too. I don't even get the satisfaction of a completed character arc because the last 35 minutes of this movie didn't even happen. It doesn't matter. And that to me is a real shame because there is a lot more going on in both of these movies. Now, they are still fine. Fun, even. Decent little horror flicks. The second Smile, I legitimately think is quite good, but I think moments that could have really taken them over the top were left out in favor of letting the monster get the last laugh. I'm so mad. Why is it already November? There's your true horror. Time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I'm pretty sure I did. And if you did, be sure to fulfill the whims of the algorithm with likes, comments, and a subscription to the channel. There's perks on Patreon for those who wish to support in the never-ending struggle. Support me if you can. Love me if you must. Have a great rest of your day.